I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. What is going on? It's Midday Muscle. Welcome back. Hope you're doing good. Let's get right into the latest. Over the last few weeks, we've covered a handful of stories all around the idea that Hadi Choopan's reign as champion might be a one-and-done thing, which could obviously lead to a major shakeup in the Open if it ends up happening. Now, with that being said, on a recent episode of Dennis James' podcast, DJ asked William Bonac who he thought was going to win the Olympia this year. And William responded that he had Hadi as the clear-cut favorite to repeat, given that he wasn't even at his all-time best when he won the title last year. For someone like William, who's a former runner-up, and a guy who's widely regarded as being one of the best bodybuilders in the current generation to say, especially when you consider the fact that he isn't competing this year. So if Hadi can bring back the level of conditioning he had back in 2021, which a lot of people feel was his best look to date, even if we see significant improvements from some of the other top contenders, it's hard to imagine a scenario where he doesn't walk out of that arena with a second Sandow trophy in his hands. Obviously, there's a lot of rocks being thrown at the throne right now, including Samson Dowda, who had some pretty pointed thoughts about where he stands in the rankings a few days ago. Recently, he went on the record and said that he believes the only thing that's holding him back from being the best bodybuilder on the planet is his back, and that once he brings that up, it's essentially game over for everyone else on the roster. Whether or not that's true is probably a topic for another Midday Muscle, but the fact of the matter is that his ceiling feels like it's as high as anyone's right now, and there are a lot of people out there who believe that he has all the makings of a multi-time champion. So if he can continue this meteoric rise that he's been on for the next 6 months, and turn his back into something that's right up there with the best of them, then I guess it's only a matter of time till we see if his predictions come to fruition. We are now about 10 days out from the New York Pro, which, as you know, becomes one of the biggest events of the year. And unfortunately for everyone who was excited to see former NPC national champ Carlos Thomas make his pro debut, it looks like you're going to have to wait a little longer, because a few days ago, word broke from his camp that he's pulling out of the show due to some GI issues that he's been dealing with. The latest word from his team is that he doesn't have another show lined up at the moment, but he is still planning to compete at some point in this season, which leaves that door open for him to jump into one of the string of shows that we have coming up throughout the early and mid part of the summer. And maybe if he can take this extra time to iron out some of those kinks that he might have in a process, hopefully whenever he does make his debut, it will be well worth the wait. Well, even though Carlos Thomas is out for the New York Pro, we do know that all systems are go for Tonio Burton, who started to pick up a lot of momentum as one of the early favorites lately. A few days ago, Tonio posted this update on his Instagram that shows what looks to be his best conditioning to date, not to mention the additional size that he put on during the offseason. As he's grown into the Open over the last year or so, he's made a pretty incredible transformation. And if anything, he might actually have an even more aesthetic than he did as a 212er, which definitely makes an exception to the rule. He's got a ton of talent and a lot of tools at his disposal, so if he puts it all together to bring home a signature win, we think it sets the stage for him to position himself as a potential top 10 Olympian this year. That does it. Midday Muscle's over yet again. We'll be back tomorrow, very likely. Take it easy.